What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are back with another episode of Warzone Bootcamp. Now, if you're not familiar with the series, this series is pretty much dedicated to helping you guys improve in solos. We all know solos is a little bit more campy and a little bit more frustrating, and so this series is just to try and help you guys improve a little bit, which will hopefully help you enjoy the game a little bit more. Now, in this episode, we're going to be focusing on pushing campers, or not even necessarily campers, but just anyone on the map, trying to find enemies, know where they are, and then push them to get the kills. So, without wasting any more time, we are going to jump straight into it. So you can see here we have decided to land up at military base, and this is probably one of my favourite places to drop it because it is fairly hot, but it's not like too hot to where it's just pure chaos. So I've landed on a scav here, and obviously that's something you want to try and do straight away, whether it's a scav or just a bounty or something like that. You always want to try and land on a contract. Now, I knew there was other people here, and as you can see, this guy kind of just didn't really know what was going on, so this was a pretty easy kill. He pretty much ran straight into my bullets right there. But now, I know that people know that I'm in this location. They've seen me on the map, so I need to get the hell out of here. You can see me sort of scrambling for a gun. Luckily, I found one. And then now that I'm armed, I'm pretty much just trying to finish off the scav and, pick off anyone else that I do see along the way. Now, you can see here, just as I'm looting up on the minimap, there are a few shots, and now that I've got a silenced weapon, I know that I can sort of take advantage of that. I actually picked up another silenced weapon here, which was the SKS, and this one is really, really solid. And you can see that I saw the guy up there, so I know that he's just been in a gunfight up there, and I'm assuming he's killed the guy. And rather than pushing too early, I'm just essentially trying to get as much of this scavenger done as I can while it's safe, because you don't want to be trying to loot while, there's people trying to shoot at you. So the goal here really is just to make sure that I'm, looted well enough, got enough ammo, got decent enough guns, and then now that I know that those guys are there, I can push in afterwards. So you can see me just sort of checking around, making sure that, there's no one looking at me. Once again, that guy is on the map still. And I was actually about to push him here, but I realised on the minimap that the scav was just behind me. So once again, pretty much dropping that to dropping the gunfight to make sure that I can get the scav while it's safe. And then again, once I've gotten that sorted, then it's pretty much my only goal to push down there and try and take those guys out. Now, you can see here, once I'm done looting, that there are now two shots on the map. There's one over on the left and one on the right. I did already know the guy on the right was there, so I decided to go with him, and as you can see, it was pretty lucky because he did actually keep shooting, and it was just giving me a live ping to where he was. Now, you can see he actually shoots again in a second, and again, it's just alerting me to where he was. That's the main reason you want to have a silence gun, is because otherwise you're just showing yourself on the map. So I know that he's down there. My thought here was I wanted to get some high ground, so jumped up on this ladder, and as you can see, it worked out pretty well. He was pretty much sitting right there, and I knew that he was in a gunfight with someone. I wasn't too sure if they were still in the gunfight or if he'd already killed him. So you can see me just sort of, scoping out this area, making sure I'm not pushing to get his loot while there's someone waiting there, because I did know that they were in a gunfight. Now, you can see there was shots up on the map in that direction, and that was probably the guy that was shooting earlier, so I knew that I could probably go and grab these guys' loot now that, I'd taken care of them. And the next goal now is just to try and take this guy out. So a little tip here is, when you're actually walking, if you ADS while you're walking, you are completely silent without having to crouch. So that's a really solid tip. The only thing is that it does, take away a bit of your vision. Now, this guy actually had a heartbeat. He knew exactly where I was, and I nearly butchered it there, but I decided to flank around to his left, and luckily it worked out. That is a really solid tip, is to just pretty much never peek from the same angle. For some reason, people never ever expect you to sort of flank around them, which is technically, I don't know why people don't do it, because it's the most obvious choice, but a lot of people will never expect it. So flanking is definitely something I'll try and get into the habit of. Now, I saw this guy down here. Luckily, I got the guy's heartbeat, so at this point, it's a lot easier to sort of find enemies. This guy didn't really know that I was here, so I'm just trying to play this safe. I'm not trying to rush in there and, put it on his terms. I know that he's there and he doesn't know that I'm here, so I just want him to pretty much come to me without really knowing that he's doing it. So you can see that he comes out this door here. Now he does know that I'm here, and that's when it becomes a little bit more of an issue. You could hear the glass break, and that's a dead giveaway right there. So I knew exactly where he was going, and as you can see, I just cut him off. He didn't really have anywhere else to go at that point. He could have tried to hold his ground, but obviously he sort of panicked a little bit. So that is really the goal of what you want to try and do. You want to try and make people panic, because when they do panic, they're going to make bad decisions. So at this point, I had enough to get a loadout, and obviously that is one of the most important things in Warzone, especially in solos. You need to try and get your loadout. So now that I do have that, I'm feeling a little bit more confident. I went with the Ram 7 and the Kar 98 for this game, And you can see here that I think I heard someone, and as you can see, he's running past. So I was actually on the way to the scav, but now the goal is to try and take this guy out. And as you can see, the Ram 7 absolutely melts this dude. I don't know if he had armor or not, but he went down very, very quickly there. And then, yeah, once I've taken him out, back on the way to try and get the scav. So at this point, you've pretty much beaten what I would say is the first sequence of the game. So, you know, you land, you loot, and you try and just survive the first area. And now that you've done that, you're set up, you've got your loadout, you've got enough money to get some UAVs and stuff like that. And so now, like I said, you are moving on to the middle section of the match, which for me is literally just for, you know, trying to get as many kills as I can. So I'm set up now. I don't really care at this point about trying to win. You know, there's still, what is there, 70 people left. I've got no aspirations of winning just yet. I'm just trying to get some kills now. You can see that I popped the UAV. No one at all showed up on it. And so what you want to do if that is the case, you don't want to waste the UAV. You want to get in a car and pretty much just send it in any direction and try and get some, you know, try and make someone show up on the UAV, just so that it essentially isn't a waste of money, because otherwise you've just spent 4 grand on literally nothing. So you can see here I've got the second loadout. For those who don't know this little strategy, you want to get your first loadout, and then the second loadout you should have Ghost and just, you know, whatever guns you want with a fully loaded perk on it, just to give yourself full ammo. And then you've got Ghost and the, you know, the weapons that you want as well. So at this point I've still got 4 grand left. I didn't see anyone on that UAV, so literally I'm just trying to buy a second UAV here. And as you can see, someone actually just showed up right next to me. Kind of panicked here, but luckily the Ram 7, this thing, it melts. You can see like that time to kill is just insane. Again, I don't know if maybe he wasn't fully armored up or something, but this thing absolutely melts. So once again, not really anyone showing up on the UAV, so I've got enough money to buy another one, so I just bought another one. Don't want to pop it straight away. I just want to try and get to a different area on the map and then try and pop it, and yeah, really just trying to up my kills at this point. So from here, I'm actually going to go and grab a bounty as well. I know military is pretty clear at this point. There's always the chance someone could have, you know, spawned back or something, but I know that I've cleared it out mostly, and so rather than just popping that UAV again and, you know, the chance of wasting one, I've actually decided to go and get a bounty, and then from here I know where someone is actually going to be. Doesn't mean they won't have Ghost, but at the very least I know, you know, their rough area from the bounty. So at this point, I'm just trying to push that bounty. I already knew straight away that he was going to be on top of that building right there. There's always a camper on that building, and so this is a really solid example of how to push a camper. Now, I knew he was up there. He knew that I was down here. He was already shooting at me, as you can see. And so I decided to actually lure him to this end of the building. So you can see that I've got out here. I actually wanted him to shoot at me there. And as you can see, now he knows that I'm here, and he's going to come up this end, assuming that I'm going to try and push up this side of the building. Now, because I knew that, and I knew, generally speaking, if he's a camper, he's not a good player, I decided to pretty much bait him. I knew he was up this end. You can see even by the bounty sort of marker on the map that he's up this end of the building. There's no way that he can actually be on that far end of the building. So pop the UAV. He didn't show up, unfortunately. He's got Ghost, but we already know that he's there. As you can see, as I move up this end of the building, he does not move. He's still at that far end. So you can see that I'm sort of slowly going up at the start, but then I start sprinting up because I know that he's not moving. He doesn't know that I've gone to this side of the map. So I make the most of that. I try and gain as much ground on him as I can while he's up the other end. I don't think he can hear me sprinting at this point, and as you can see, he's still up there. He hasn't moved at all, and I know that I can pretty much come out here and check where he is. Now, it turns out he's up on top. He was actually just looking at me, and then for some reason he looked away. But yeah, right there is a perfect example of how to pretty much, you know, bait a camper. Generally speaking, they're not the sharpest tool in the shed. They're not going to have the best idea. If they're camping up here, they're also not going to be generally the best player. Generally, the good players are the ones sort of sprinting around and, you know, being idiots. And if someone's camping, they're generally not going to be that great. At least in this point of the game anyway. Generally, at the end of the game, everyone's going to be camping, so it's not quite the same in the last sort of, you know, 2 circles, but at this point, generally, if someone's camping, they're not going to be that good. So at this point, I do have 9 grand, and as you can see, the game is getting, you know, closer to the end. There's only 40 left, and so at this point, I'm going to jump down and I'm going to try and grab a self-res and another UAV. I've got enough for both, and yeah, you just want to get that self-res at this point in the game. It's not worth getting early on because you've still got the gulag, but obviously at this point, I'm set up and I don't want to go to the gulag at this point, so self-res is definitely important, very important in solos, because otherwise you're just instantly dead. And so at this point, I've got that UAV, got that self-res, and now I'm pinging another bounty and the car, and the goal is just to pretty much repeat what I just did. So the situation is the same as earlier. I know that I've cleared out military, and so I know that it is relatively safe to come back here. Those are the little decisions you need to make throughout the game, rather than going to somewhere you don't know to get a bounty. If there is one where you've already been, then obviously that's the smarter play, to try and get that one instead. Now, there is one thing that I've done wrong here, which is actually don't have a trophy on the car, and that is something I would definitely recommend. If you're going to be in a car a lot, you definitely want to have a trophy. Now, you can see here, I got a ping on the radar. I wanted to ping where he was, just so that I know for later reference when the UAV runs out, that I know, roughly where that guy is going to be. Now, I know the bounty is very close, and I'm assuming he's in that red building, and you can see just then that he did actually move across. So, I know he's coming this direction. He actually just jumped out there and tried to pretty much sneak up behind him here, and as you can see, it worked out very well. He did have a self-res, so I tried to just take him out as quick as I could, and at this point, again, because of the bounty, because of those contracts, as well as just picking up their loot, I've got more money, and the goal is pretty much just to do exactly the same thing. Now, I remember that orange ping from earlier on, so I got another UAV, popped it straight away, and I knew this guy was coming my direction, and pretty much I just wanted to post up here. Instead of, trying to push him too much, he's got to come my direction, and as you can see, he was a pretty easy target. He didn't have any idea that I was here, so even though the majority of this video is about pushing enemies, sometimes it is smarter to, let them come to you. If someone's running your direction already and you're in a decent spot, there's no reason to sort of push up to them and, put it on their terms. You want it to be on your terms instead. Now, at this point, I have enough money to get an advanced UAV, and that is going to be a massive advantage at this point in the game. If you don't know how to do it, you just pop 3 UAVs at the same time, and as you can see, this guy actually came back from the gulag to grab his stuff. He probably thought I was camping, but in actual reality, I literally just lucked out and got another free kill. So, at this point, I know that guy is up there because of that advanced UAV. And as you can see, as I'm running, I know no one's close to me. I'm actually just checking the map every now and then just to see where everyone's moving. One thing you should know about advanced UAVs, if you do have Ghost, you still show up on advanced UAVs. However, if you're within 150 meters of the person with the UAV, you won't show up. So just because no one's near me, it doesn't actually mean that there's no one near me. If someone has Ghost and they're right next to me, they won't show up on that advanced UAV. Now, you can see that I actually lost the enemy here for quite a while, and you can see me playing very, very slow. Pretty much just waiting for that circle to close in. I did not want to rush, and, without that UAV, without a bounty or anything, it does become a lot it's a lot more dangerous to push campers that way. Now, luckily I found him just here. Decided to have a bit of a shot at him. Don't know how that wasn't a headshot, to be honest, but he's nearly dead now. Took his armor with that initial shot, and then I actually landed a few more shots afterwards, so I know he's really hurt, and he's pretty much going to be behind that building somewhere. I'm on the high ground. There's no need for me to rush down there at this point, but at the same time, I do want to try and keep my eyes on him, because otherwise he can very easily get away down in that little ravine down there. So I'm just playing it really safe. I know that there's probably going to be people, to my right in the circle. I don't want to push in. Luckily, this guy appears. I don't think that was actually the same guy. So, you can see, once again, Ram 7, if you have not tried this gun out, it is an absolute beast. That was probably the quickest I've ever killed someone with an AR in my life, to be honest. But that actually wasn't the same guy that I shot at initially. They did have different skins, so I was pretty sus at this point. I really just wanted to get to cover, and as I came in here, I actually heard that there was footsteps in the next house. So, once again, we have another camper to try and deal with here. Playing it super safe, just trying to see if he's going to peek that window, or if he's, hiding up the back or something like that. I can still hear his footsteps, so decide to actually throw a stun in here in a second, and somehow the stun actually doesn't get a hit. At that point, I was pretty confused. You can see the stun there. I knew that he was likely upstairs. It didn't get a hit. So at this point, I'm really just, he knows that I'm here already. There's no point in playing it super slow. Just checking my corners downstairs. I know that downstairs is safe now, and so if he's still in here, he is going to be upstairs. And as you can see, throw a stun off the wall, hit him, and at this point he's pretty buggered. There's not much you can do when you're stunned, so that's a good tip. A lot of people run heartbeat sensors in solos, but honestly, stuns are king in my opinion for that second slot. Heartbeat just really isn't worth it, at least not this late in the game anyway. Now, this guy just got pretty unlucky. I managed to see him just as he was crossing. I don't know how I actually hit that headshot. And then I missed the easy one. I missed 2 easy ones, actually. But, yeah, he just kind of pushed at the wrong time there. Once you do, every time you clear a building or something, always try and take in your surroundings, because when you get in a gunfight, you often forget sort of what's going on around you. So once you have killed someone, what I did there was obviously just check out the windows, and you can see I'm just trying to, you know, regather what's going on. I've missed a bit of the game because I was in that gunfight, and so now I just want to make sure I get my surroundings again. Now, something I did wrong here, which I actually wanted to highlight a lot in this video, is there's only 10 people left, so obviously this is the point of the game where you want to be a little bit campier. Now, this guy's so far away, he's no threat to me, and with a Kar 98 too, you're not going to hit many of these shots. I got pretty lucky to hit the first one. If it was a HDR, maybe it would be a different story, but all I'm doing is giving away my location. As you can see, a guy is actually right next to me, so if I wasn't shooting then he probably wouldn't have known I was here. But now he does know that I'm here, and you know, I've got myself into a fair bit of trouble here. I know he's going to try and push me. Once again, this Ram 7 is a beast. I don't know if I would have won most of these gunfights with any other gun, to be honest. It's really like it's almost a combination between an SMG and an AR, so it's really good to run with the sniper. Definitely, I've said it about 8 times already this video, but it's definitely worth giving it a shot if you haven't used it already. So, circle's pushing in. I just want to get into this building and, you know, take a bit of cover. I got shot with an explosive shot just then and I really panicked. So, at this point I'm really just trying to, you know, stay safe. I don't know where the hell that came from. I peeked again, and as you can see, he shoots at me again. I don't really know where he is, but I just caught the glare then. And I know that I've got a sniper. He's using the Rytec. He's likely not going to beat me with a Rytec. So, you can see him glaring again. And he kind of messed up there. I don't know what he is. Essentially what I just said. He had no reason to try and shoot at me then, and that's what actually got him killed. If he just stayed safe, he probably would have been in a pretty good spot down there. So, perfect example of what I was talking about just before. The thing that I did, now someone else did it, and it got them killed as well. So at this point there's only 4 people left. I actually didn't realise that there was so few people left, so I'm just pretty much trying to wrap around all the way around this circle. I know there's going to be people down there, and I actually could see that glare down there, and I pinged up the top there because I just wanted to know if that was still in the circle, and as you can see it is still in the circle. So at this point I'm in a decent spot in terms of, you know, the situation of the map, but there's really no cover, and if there's someone down to my left or even above me, there's really no cover for me at all. So it is a pretty stressful little spot. I wanted to try and get to this bunker. As you can see, I just managed to see this guy crossing. And at this point, I'm really just trying to hard scope that truck. It's his only cover. He has to move. You can see the truck on the minimap is outside of the circle, so he's going to have to move at some point. And I feel like I'm in a decent enough spot here that there's no one else to my left, and the people to my right, if I'm not moving, they're probably not going to see me. Now, I'm right on the edge of the circle, so I don't have to move too far at all. This guy does have to move, like I said, so I'm just waiting for him to move out of here. Unfortunately, I actually missed this shot, and so I just want to try and push up and see where he goes. I don't want to lose, you know, line of sight on him, and I can see that he's gone down into one of these buildings. Now, the spot that I just went to, I would not recommend doing that. You can see me even look up. I was like, oh shit, this is not the best spot. Someone put a precision on me, which just shows that, you know, I was not in the best spot. They could clearly see me. And luckily here, I did have a self-res, because if I didn't have one, I would have been dead. I thought the second run was going to get me. Luckily it didn't. At this point though, you can see the circle's moving back. It's coming my direction. They're all down the bottom there. I know that. There's only 2 left now. They're fighting. And so at this point I've got the high ground, they have to come my direction, and as you can see, a very easy win, or at least a very easy final kill. Definitely wasn't an easy win, but despite that little mistake there, it still came through the win. Luckily that self-res really did save me. I would have died in 3rd place if I did not have that self-res. So you can see there at the end that the sort of map situation was what actually won me the game. They were all down the bottom there. They didn't think of, you know, they didn't think it through trying to get some high ground while the circle was pushing up that hill. Whereas I knew that I was on the high ground compared to them. So even though that wasn't the point of the video, that was, I guess, a good example of how to navigate the final circle and, you know, try and make sure that you do have the high ground towards the end, because otherwise you are likely going to end up dead like those guys. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Hopefully those bounty and UAV tips in the middle there did help you guys when it comes to getting some more kills and sort of pushing those campers. If you have any topics that you would like me to do in the next boot camp, something that you struggle with, something that you want to see me do, then be sure to leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you are new to the channel, then be sure to subscribe with those notifications on so you don't miss out on any more videos or live streams. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.